2 years ago, I left Germany to start a new life in Kenya. And let me tell you, it really changed my perspective on life. In this video, I want to share with you why Kenya feels even more like a home to me than the country I was born in and spent over 20 years in. So watch the video until the end to really understand the point of view I have, and it might help you to see things also from a different perspective. So what I need to mention first of, it's not to bash Germany or something. It's a beautiful country. It helped me a lot to grow. It gave me a lot of opportunities. It gave me a lot of knowledge, and it gave me the chance to even have the freedom to be here in Kenya and to decide where I want to spend my life in. But in the end of the day, it's just about finding the place where I feel much more comfortable in, where I see myself living, and where I really find a better and deeper purpose and connection to the people and to my personal self to live a more fulfilling life. So the reason first of why I moved to Kenya even was to start my own business here. I was working back then in Germany in our family business. I was quite happy. I learned a lot. I was pushing through building my own department over there. But at some point I felt like I needed change, and I felt not comfortable anymore with like all my surroundings. It was a long process until I was like, I understand that I need to leave the country, that I feel more comfortable and can like start growing and developing myself even further. But at some point I understood slowly, the more time I spent there, that I just want to leave the country to just see who I am and what I actually want to do in the end of the day. And Kenya was the opportunity that helped me to find a little bit closer to myself than back then. At least I'm still on the search, of course, but it helped me to get opportunities that I would never ever have when I would have spent time still in Germany, just getting to work and like building the stuff and whatever. Even if, let's say, I had stability, I had security and everything was nice, I feel so much more happier with the struggles I faced here in Kenya, with the challenges I had, and now with the growth I experienced over the last 2 years. So my name is Marvin, and on this channel I'm sharing my journey of moving to the African continent, in this case to Kenya, traveling around and like seeing different kinds of business opportunities to help you to get a clearer and better image of the African continent. And I hope this helps you to also start your own journey and see how you can spend your time also in Africa. So the first point I want to talk about here is the cost of living and the freedom I feel here in Kenya. Just by comparing these two countries by cost of living, it's might be quite obvious that Kenya must be much cheaper. I'm living a much better lifestyle. I'm having a much better quality of life, much healthier food. I have much more freedom and nature surrounding me all year long, much more sunshine. So there are many things why I think in terms of the quality of life, Kenya is a much better place. So by now I understood that Germany for me is just too cold, and I even will go there to visit my family like in 2 or 3 weeks to just spend time during Christmas with them. But I'm excited to see them, but I'm not excited to spend time in the country, because the freedom I feel here, as I said, in Kenya is much more desirable for myself, and like I feel much more happier and I just feel more relaxed being over here than like being in the cold, being over there like and spending even like 2 or 3 times more money staying in Germany for less quality of life than in Kenya, for instance. So I think in terms of cost of living, Kenya is definitely like a much more desirable place for me, what I have seen over the last 2 years for sure. And another reason why I would never move back to Germany, besides visiting my family of course, is the kind of community and connection you can build here with people. From the last years, I haven't spent much time in Germany for the last 2 years, but from what I remember from before and like how I feel when I'm there, it's always like that people are just in their own bubbles, and it's very hard to start a new interaction with someone that doesn't know you, because they're always just in their own world, don't want to communicate too much with you, they just want to do the thing they are there for and just get it done. And what I see in Kenya, even just by today, I went out grocery shopping, got some stuff, and I even can have like easy and nice and like just open conversations with the person who is like on the counter, the cashier, who's like just getting my items while they're scanning my items. It's just that you have so many more lovely interactions with the people here. They're just much more friendly, open, you can laugh with them. And in Germany, it's just very straightforward and you get the thing done, and like people don't want to interact too much with you. And I feel like this has a big impact on like how you view everyday life activities, because here I feel like it's always nice to interact with people. If you're ordering your food in the restaurant, if you're getting groceries, if you're just talking to strangers anywhere, you just have a better feeling of doing so. And like, it's just so much nicer to just have all these little interactions here. You learn something from the people, you have like nice conversations, you can laugh. And I think in Germany it's just something that I barely can have over there. Even if I'm now a very open-minded person and try to approach people as well very openly, it's very tough sometimes to really build a new connection out there. I met a couple of people here just once randomly somewhere. We had a conversation and we bonded immediately. And since then we just talk about life. We just talk about like giving each other updates. We just can build a better connection. They invite me to some events sometimes. I invite them to something sometimes. And we just build a stronger bond. And I think in Germany is really, really much like straightforward. You have a lot of bureaucracy. You have people that are just constantly stressed about life. You're getting so many letters from the city and so many just paperwork and stuff that stresses you out enough that you don't even think about things outside of the things you need to get done. And I think this makes a very, very big difference in like how you feel about like just leaving the house, the way you feel about how you get your groceries, the things you feel like, how you interact with people in business, in life in general, about making friends. This is one of the biggest reasons actually why I don't like to spend a lot of time over there, because it's very much you're into your own bubble. You don't have many new people coming into the life. And so it gets quite boring and like it's not always adventurous and like exciting to leave the house and to just have all these small interactions with people. This leads me to the next point, what is lifestyle and environment. First off, the people make a big difference in how you interact with like the whole country and like how you feel about being in the city, in the country, whatever. But also the environment you spend your time in, the lifestyle you can live. For instance, here in Kenya, I can be outside almost the whole year. You have some rainy seasons here, you have some colder seasons here, but I still spend, I would say 95% of the time I'm outside, I'm spending it outside. I'm not inside the restaurant, I'm sitting in the garden area. I'm not doing inside activities, I'm all the time doing outside activities. And this oftentimes also in the middle of the nature. I can just go out on a beautiful forest on a Sunday, and this almost all year long here in Kenya, besides the couple of rainy days you have here. So this also gives you a different feeling of life, because you're just always excited if you go outside, because you can actually spend time outside, the sun is shining, people are much more happy as well. If there's one thing I realized on this journey, is that also people from colder countries are oftentimes also emotionally a bit colder, at least from the place I've been in myself. And people in warmer countries are much more open to talk to you, to have conversations. And because they just can spend time more in the nature, they can spend time more just being outside and interacting with people and like bringing the families together outside. So it really has a big impact of how you view life and how you can live your life properly. And I think this is also something that reflects in the pace of life that you see here in Kenya, for instance. In Germany, for me, it's always like, when I was there, it's always like very straightforward and you have to get things done all the time, what I like to do anyways in terms of my work and whatever I do. But here in Kenya, you see the opposite, and you see people with a much slower pace of life. They're a bit more relaxed, they're a bit slower, because there's not too much stress. They have like the polar lifestyle, what means like just a slower lifestyle, and they don't think the life needs to be stressed that much. There's also a very nice saying I learned a couple of months back, and it's like haraka haina baraka, what means something like quick things don't have any blessings. So they take things just a bit slower, step back a little bit more. It can be a little bit tough in the beginning if you're not used to things like this, but overall I would say just sometimes seeing people relaxing like this doesn't take out my own ambition, but it just reminds me sometimes that I also need to take a step back, that I also need to focus on like clearing my mind sometimes, to spend some more time on creative things, to like get the ideas flowing a bit more. And also what I really love about Kenya, even if you also have like the beach in Germany, but like I said, most of the year you are not able to do outside activities because it's very, very much cold. And in Kenya you have the beach, you have a big coastal line with like so diverse different kinds of cities. You have the safari parks, you have like a lot of hiking trails. You have, I think, Africa's second biggest mountain, the Mount Kenya, here as well, that you can go hike for, like different kinds of mountains and volcanoes. So it's so diverse of the opportunities and things you can do here in terms of just being outside here, what is really a true blessing for me. And this one leads me to the next point, where I want to talk about the opportunities and the innovation here, what I see. And I mean, this is one of the main reasons why I came. I came to do business here in Kenya, to explore life here in Kenya, to understand how it actually is to live here and like spend a lot of time here. And if there's one thing I realize is that the entrepreneurial spirit here in Kenya and the youthful energy here is very, very high. Even if Kenya is maybe not as developed as Germany, and Germany is just much further ahead in terms of the economy, in terms of the developments they made already, in terms of like a lot of things. But I see that Kenya is picking up very quickly. It needs a couple of more years, but I still see people, and especially the young generation, with a lot of energy to bring change to the country, to bring innovation to the country, to just changing lives. And I see sometimes in Germany it's a bit slower. The population is also much older, and this also makes things a bit slower. The process of bureaucracy is also much slower. There's so much more layers that you have to go through in terms of doing business and like trying to bring innovation, because you have to see if any of the 500 laws are saying anything against the thing you want to do, to see if it might make sense to realize some kind of projects you want to do. So I see here in Kenya you can just be more like, you can just handle things much quicker, and I like this, because you have an idea, you don't have to think too much about the regulations, even if they also exist, and it's more bureaucratic than I thought of in the beginning. It's a more fast-paced environment than I think it is in Germany. And if there's another thing I want to add, is also that like Germany, of course, is a safe country. You can make safe investments there, you can get a safe income there, you can build a safe business, but it takes you also a little bit longer. But here in Kenya, I think it's also a market that is still developing, it's still growing, so it has like a much bigger growth rate than, let's say, Germany. It has like a lot of new opportunities, because you can still enter different kinds of market gaps like quite early on. And in Germany, I feel like most of the markets are very much saturated. The economy of the country in general is a bit stagnating in the past year, and I think there's just so much more space by just being here on the ground and seeing the development here, that you can interact from an early time on here in Kenya. So I really like this about this country as well. All of this is to say, even if Germany is the place where I was born, I spent most of my life in, I am still very glad and thankful that I had the opportunity to be born there, to visualize and learn so many things over there, that I can now build my own life outside of the country. So I'm very grateful for the time and opportunity that I had. But now I just see myself living more comfortable, living more of a quicker life, living more a life of more adventure, living more a life of uncertainty, what I really enjoy, because I don't like it if things are just properly planned out for the next 10 years. And I see that my life here in Kenya is like just moving so quickly and like developing so quickly, that I can also grow from all these challenges, that I can grow from all these different kinds of opportunities that are coming my way, that I feel much more comfortable staying here in Kenya, living my life here in Kenya. And I would say the only reason why I'm actually going back to Germany to visit as well, like in the next couple of weeks, is my family. But other than that, I wouldn't say that there's anything else that draws me back to Germany or like to any other country in Europe at the moment, at least. And I feel more comfortable living here in Kenya. And I hope my perspective can help you a little bit to see how the contrast of life is actually, and I hope it also gives you a little bit of a more clearer idea of why I think the way, why I'm spending my time in Kenya. Because oftentimes we don't know a lot of things about African countries if we are from the West. And just to sharing these honest and open opinions with you, why I see things the way I see them, makes hopefully also you making a step out of your comfort zone and maybe at least explore, visit some African countries, maybe Kenya, maybe other countries you are interested in, to see if these are also places you would consider yourself worth visiting, or maybe building even a life over there. So now please drop down below in the comments what your experience is of moving abroad and then going back to your home country or the country of origin, and tell me how it felt for you to go back there, if you see any kinds of differences, or if you have even reverse culture shocks. So thank you so much for watching, and watch some of the other videos I placed right here about my move, about Africa's development and different kinds of opportunities you have here on the African continent. So I see you in the next one.